And we're back here once again for the Day 2 wrap-up of NAB 2024. And we have the same crew again, back from yesterday,
Yep.
Kenny and Joey.
We are so obviously tired today.
Well, people, if you managed to watch the video on ASU, you'll already notice Kenny having crashed the shot.
Johnnicky, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Johnnicky's rad. Go watch that video. Johnnicky's cool. He was my old editing.
Okay, so you guys roamed the holes again, and what were the big highlights?
Oh, so me start. All right.
You start.
Yeah. Let's see. I brought my list here because I forgot
You
last
got a
time.
list. One of us is organized.
Nikon, Sony. I think were the big camera manufacturers we saw. Yeah. You know a little bit more about the Nikon. I'm using the F2. That's my exposure to Nikon at this moment. But you knew something a little more about their more recent cameras. Yeah, Sony. We looked at some cloud storage and cloud solutions that seemed pretty cool. I think you have more exposure to this stuff.
All right. Yeah. So the Nikon stuff. My first ever professional camera was a D90, and it was the first camera to shoot video. First, DSLR. To shoot video, not the 5D, come to find out. It was the Nikon D90. Shot 720, it was very jello-y, but I had that. So I've always loved Nikon. Obviously, their acquisition of Red was a talking point. High level, watch that interview, but the high level note is that right now it's like an acquisition, and then they're going to stop and just listen. They want to know what everyone wants. They want to see if they need to move anything around.
Isn't that what they always say when they acquire
right?
things?
He was a little... not cagey or anything, but it was definitely like it's so early. The ink just dried on the paper, so that's interesting. But their ZF camera, I've always been stoked about. I just finally got to see one in person. That's their it looks like an F2, but it's a full frame mirrorless, but it's got all the manual dials that you would normally associate with like a Fujifilm type thing. Yep. The Z9 and Z8 are just incredible. It's like 12-bit raw internal up to 60, they're 8K. They're just crazy good. They're kind of a quiet, there's not a lot of online talk about them so much as there is like your Sonys, but they're quiet excellence over there at Nikon, so that was cool to see. What was the other one you said?
Well, the one thing we didn't see at Sony was like the Burano, right? I mean,
Yeah.
did we didn't really? I think everything's been said about that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of a camera you need to spend some time with before you really can actually form an opinion or have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Iodine. Yeah. Iodine was cool. I mean, they were the storage, the 14 terabyte storage.
Up to 48.
Do you guys get excited about storage?
I do. I use the Synology NAS system. We do a huge volume of videos and like tons of footage at Tested, where we're constantly turning things around and overloading. And so I've sort of built out a 30-something terabyte Synology system that I use, Cat 5 to edit off of. So I get really excited about.
I feel like I don't get excited about storage, but I get very annoyed when it doesn't do what I want it to do.
That's what I think. It's just years of annoyance that turned into something very gleeful when I finally figured it out and cracked that. And
right.
And I did like their form factor. Like it looked like a MacBook, like an old MacBook, which is USB-C or Thunderbolt 4 ports everywhere. That's definitely something that I would want to get like my team in on. And the price point was like $17K. So.
Well, it was 17 for the 48 terabyte.
Right.
So it's
Right. Not bad for like a team.
SSD, massive SSD.
Yeah, have tons of people working off of it if you're doing event stuff. Deity.
Yeah. So Deity's a sponsor, but there's like 3 companies that I will go to bat for religiously. Maybe more, but Fujifilm, Kino Flo, and Deity, I think, are like 3 companies that are just constantly killing the game. So Deity, obviously, we're using their lavs. They've been flawless in this ridiculous environment. Right there.
Here they are.
And every time I was talking to Andrew about it, and the thing that's hilarious about all their products is every time they come out with a new one, I'll be like, well, surely it doesn't do this, and they're like, oh yeah, it does. And I'm just making stuff up. I'm just like, what about? But so the thing that they have now that was really cool that I got kind of excited about. There's a lot of stuff, but it was a XLR transmitter, wireless transmitter that it can record and transmit at the same
Wow.
time. The lav packs can't because of
Which, why
electrosonic.
not? But still not what you would expect.
Yeah,
Out of the
well,
gate.
Electrosonics, I guess, has that patent on only the lav packs. I'm not sure, but they're allowed to do it on the transmitter.
Wow,
So,
interesting.
line mic or phantom power can record in it like that. 32-bit float, obviously with the app and everything. All with the lavs and the time code boxes and slate, they all sync up with the app. So that was really cool. He was also saying that if you buy the transmitter, you can just, if you have the lav packs, you can just swap one of them out for the transmitter. It uses the same dual channel
interesting.
receiver.
That's
They
cool.
will be coming out with more receivers later, but that was.
I gotta be honest. I'm a fan too. I have it's the TC1, I think.
Yep, the time code boxes.
I got the three pack, and
I
I
have
use
the
that
same
for my
one.
motion capture system, and it's awesome. The only bummer is every now and then you come across an app that just works with Tentacle Sync, and I kind of
Oh.
wish that there was almost like an emulator or something.
Yeah.
But that's just implementation. But the
Pretty
those
niche.
things are rock solid.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great, and just being able to do it from your phone,
Yeah.
sync. You
Yep.
don't have to go find the camera or like the lav packs. You can from the app you can mute them, turn them off, whatever. So you don't got to go fiddling with the actor.
Yeah.
To
Yep.
do that.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, theoretical about that pack, that little brick, because I do have to record, a presenter at a big convention, and sometimes I'm giving them a Zoom to plug in to an out from a board, from a soundboard, and I'm running camera somewhere else. With that, I can plug that into the board, have them plug that into the board, monitor that on the Deity app, and have headphones to that and listen to that feed coming through, or at least just see levels bounce.
I don't think you can list. That's a great question, actually. I don't think you can listen through the app.
A monitor system with that app.
I don't believe
Like
so, but
that's bleeding LTC or
no, he's talking about the actual.
the feed. Yeah,
The
yeah,
actual
yeah, yeah.
feed. I don't
Yep.
think you can, but I do. I'm pretty sure the levels are on there.
Right.
And then, yeah, that was another thing he was saying is you can just, as an example, he said you can plug the XLR into a board and get that out directly
That's-
to your camera, and it's recording on the thing.
That's cool.
Just throw it to your camera, record internally to that brick, throw it to your camera. If you're at the camera 50 feet away, you can still monitor that at least. Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, our solution was always Zooms, and so it was, I hope that's all going to work. And walk away.
And I think he said you'd get 8 hours on a charge, or the AA's. So, more or less an all-day affair.
Now, have you guys gotten over to Blackmagic yet?
That was our first interview yesterday.
Okay. How was did you see the cameras?
Yeah, we talked
in
about
action? But did you get
Yesterday.
to play with them?
No,
See-
I mean,
okay.
yeah, we were. They had demo units
Right.
in the press area that we were fiddling with.
I mean,
and-
I'll be interested to see when we actually get some real world sort of reviews. I'll be interested to see
Yeah.
what the color space is like anyway. But we
well,
did talk
it's
about
the
that
same.
yesterday.
It's the same. At least the Pixis is the same sensor as the
Right. But the other one,
the 6K Pro.
the Monster,
That's not even a thing.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't there yet.
Okay.
And then I think you said another one, DD Kino. Oh, I was going to say this. DD, Fujifilm, and Kino. We also went to Kino Flo, and they have some of the most. Not even some of. They have the most spectrally accurate lights anywhere. And they're very light. Compact, and you got the name recognition and all that.
Sure.
But the biggest issue has always been with their LEDs, output. They don't punch very hard. If
Right.
you're combating the sun, it's game over. So they've just released new lights that are not only very bright, but far more accurate somehow. They had a color meter. I mean, they're proven. Putting the money where their mouth was, showing everyone they're a little heavier. Obviously, the ballast is built in, but they're IP65. There's another one's IP20, but those are indoors. Those are the Divas. But it's just they've killed it on that.
And are they still pushing the image-based lighting stuff, or is that gone
Mimic,
quiet?
yeah, no,
That's still
they had a demo there. They had this really cool aerialist woman on a.
So they have that sheet hanging down, and they can sort of
Oh, yeah,
twirl
that crazy
around. I don't know what it's
stuff,
called.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
So they had her doing her whole thing. That woman is strong. But so they had a virtual production background and all the Mimic to demo that, and a motion control rig, and yeah.
Cool.
We didn't really run into any of those smaller things like we thought we would.
Did you see that the turntable? Poor girl that's stuck doing a turntable, a treadmill all day, all show.
Someone mentioned that yesterday. I want to go see.
You gotta go see
See
it
that.
because it had this, ground light source. It was just kind of novel. I've never seen it before. So
I mean,
anyway, maybe you'll be able to catch that tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tell me
for
what you
those
think.
that don't know, a lot of these booths have little like sets, and like an
Yeah.
actor tending bar, and then they switch out. But it sounds like there's someone just walking just for an entire day.
Well, and it's funny. I doubt you can hear it because these are pretty short field or whatever. But the Canon booth over here has had like a band playing the entire. I think it's a couple different bands, but they've just been going all day every day.
They've been rocking it.
Yeah, they got
Pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad. I want probably the best job here,
Yeah.
except for the bartender at Sony has this guy sitting at a bar and this woman polishing glass. I was like, that's got to be the cleanest glass in America right now.
There was one person I walked by that was just sitting on a chair reading. I'm like, no, Rox. He shows up.
The other thing I thought was really funny is like the companies that sell the most boring stuff. Like there's companies that sell switches, like literally just sell switches
Yeah.
that light up, and they have like the most attractive woman they could find because it's the only way they can get people to come
Right.
to their booth.
Luckily, the era of the booth babe is over. There's
That-
some egregious ones in history, like gaming
Yes.
conventions were bad.
Oh, yeah. No, the misogyny is still there, but it's not
It's
fully
hidden
evident.
now,
It's
which
not
is
on
better.
display, You know.
But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get people to pay attention.
I wish you could say that this industry is not misogynistic, but
All we can do is try our best.
Yep,
and
yep.
hope it sets the tone.
yeah.
What else did we see? There's
Creative Solutions, the folks that do small HD. That was kind of the end of the day. We're sort of fading through that.
And what,
those interview. The creative, all the new Teradek stuff's really rad. Small HD's always been good, but I definitely was glad that I didn't know anything about those products, so that they could just
feed it to
tell
you.
me, because
Yeah.
I'm really starting. I only got 3 hours of sleep last night because of a technical issue.
I think the Ace is
That's
real
not,
smart.
that's not a euphemism for.
No, it's
A
a
bender.
literal
You
technical
literally
issue that
were-
I was had to watch an upload to guarantee it happened. I just watched an upload for 3 hours. It was brutal. But you were saying what?
I mean, the Ace line I think is real smart. Like Teradek is kind of top of the line when it comes to the video transmission, but you have Hollyland coming in with some pretty affordable options, and for them to come down and do that price point. I think is good.
What's the news out of Holy Land? I haven't even.
We haven't been there yet.
Oh, okay, you haven't been there. All right.
I have a Hollyland transmitter. It's fine. I like the one that I have. It's like an older 300 or
I
whatever.
think that's what I have.
Because the reason I like that
This
is
is the
'cause-
SDI HDMI.
Yeah,
I thought it was like the 4.
that's the newer one.
Oh, that's
But
what I have. then.
The 300 I like because you can just hand off an iPad to the client. It can transmit up to 4 iPads
yeah.
natively, and they can take photos, video, mark it up. So that's like a cool thing that, on a Teradek is just straight transmission. The Hollyland has features, but Hollyland latency, so you can't pull focus on it or anything. It's just for monitoring.
It's just a little too much.
Yeah, but the Teradek is zero latency. The
Really?
bolt is, and then the Ace that he's
I mean,
talking
it can't
about
be 0. but
Zero.
it's-
They're claiming 0.
they're claiming frame accurate.
And I think they were claiming 0 with the Ace.
Yes.
It was another one that we didn't. I don't know if
Wow.
we saw the other one that
What's
did have
the
some
what's the
latency.
price point on that? Do you guys know?
1,000 for the Ace
That's not bad
for a transmitter receiver pack.
Yeah.
The Ace is HDMI only though.
And it's compatible with the Bolt.
Still, for something that you're doing 0 latency, you're going to be okay with HDMI, probably, unless you're doing color. But I can't imagine you care about latency for color.
Right.
So HDMI, that's okay. It's a compromise that I'm willing to take for a 0 latency.
I think that's it. Ran into some folks, and that was about.
Yeah, I ran into more. I thought there was more. There was definitely more people here yesterday, but everyone
Yeah.
I know
Came
was here today. I ran into Marcus Forder.
So all the cool people came today.
Yeah,
Is that what
Jay
you're saying?
Holben. Jay Holben was stoked to meet him. It was the weirdest thing to watch, like someone like famous meet someone that he thought was more famous than him.
It was a mutual admiration club happening.
Yeah, and his frequent collaborator, Katie, was there. Amazing DP. She's been on my podcast as well. Yeah, it was just every 10 minutes, like Johnny again.
Yeah.
You just run into someone new. It was cool.
There you go.
It's nice. It doesn't feel as busy as last year, which I'm
Yeah,
kind of digging.
I don't know when they record the numbers, but we should look, and I'm curious to see what the attendance is this year
Yeah,
so far.
it's not like empty, but it's certainly more manageable than last year. Was
Yeah.
clustered.
You know what I really enjoyed is the first year back, which was 2 years ago after COVID.
2, 3, yeah.
Anyway, it was like all the people that you wanted to catch up with came, but it wasn't like crazy crowds. I
Yeah.
kind of enjoyed that.
That was the experience at Cinegear last year, whenever it was, where it was like everyone's like, yeah, the equipment. Anyway, I haven't seen you in years, man. You know, like because I think it was right after the strike or something. So it was
No, it was during the strike.
during the strikes.
Yeah, or at the beginning.
No, you're right. It was during the strikes because there was a bunch of DP. Like Roger Deacon showed up, got mobbed. It's like that's a bold move, dude. Like you're pretty recognizable.
Right.
But yeah, I think everyone just wasn't working, so they were having a good time.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Except show up for Cinegear.
But yeah, it's been good so far. It's kind of weird tomorrow that we've done it every year, but it's weird to like bring all your stuff here and then just leave here to go straight to the airport. My flight is close.
Oh.
I got 2 hours to get on the plane.
Good luck.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But tomorrow we got some more good stuff. Who's on the schedule tomorrow? Who are we planning on talking to?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
You got Zeiss, Aperture, which would be a big one. Astera, Adobe, Fujifilm, a couple others.
Nisi and Evercast. Evercast, my friend from college works there, or I think her dad started it.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's it from me.
All right. I think we've run out of steam.
Fully, dude. I need to.
It's time for
a refreshment.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure. That is one of the things. If you've never been to NAB, right around this time, lots of bars open all across the floor.
But they're all private. At least this year, we walked up and they were like, no, not for you.
Well, that hasn't happened to me. So I
because you
think-
got that
I
pretty
think
face.
That's right. They just say here.
Yeah.
You know, welcome.
They're like, no. They look at me and they're like, no youths. You know?
No bearded figures.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the
that's
problem.
fake. Yeah, I'm 2 kids in a trench coat.
All right, we gotta wrap.
Gotta go.
Alec, cut this.
Cut the feed.